like to keep my friends like that, though. You know,
A little on the edge?
Yeah.
Why not, man?
Yeah. I don't want to have some square dude.
Some fucking
I do
lame
way
ass
too much
straight edge.
crazy, weird shit
Right?
to have friends like that.
I'm usually in for shit.
Yeah.
Even still today, you know, I'm like, well, yeah, why not?
Yeah, fuck it, crack, yeah.
Oh, my panic attack.
Yeah.
Holy shit, wasn't that crazy?
Bring that up.
Well, I had a panic attack after our, was it our second episode we did?
Right after episode 2.
Right after episode, I mean.
So if you guys checked it out, all 2 of you tried to check it out.
And then you didn't?
And it was gone.
That was my fault.
And it's back now.
Because I'm good now.
This guy flipped out for a minute.
Yeah, just a minute, man. I was driving home. Dude, I was so baked.
Dude, we were so baked.
I was sitting there on the couch and just feeling it happen, right? And I'm just like, oh, man. Like when you see a thermometer rise and getting ready to bust out like cartoon shit. It started happening. And I was just like, no. I mean, because I caught it early. Yeah. I caught it way early.
Wait, the getting high or the panic?
The panic attack.
All right.
I caught it way early. I was just like, in my head having this inner monologue, like, no, dude, chill the fuck out, man. You're right. And then
you're trying to calm yourself down, like, Mike.
Yeah.
You're just fucking high right now.
Dude, I talk to myself all the fucking time.
Yeah.
Like, all the time.
Me too.
All the time. It's probably I could be institutionalized. They would put me in there and be like, no, he's not really crazy. He just talks to himself all the fucking time. But it's just, I work out all my problems out loud. I have conversations with the people I would like to talk to about the situation out loud. Okay. And then I kind of assume how that conversation would go and then think of what they would say, then reply and dude, I have
that's like some Professor X shit.
There. It's some real crazy. Dude, it fucking works most of the time. I can work myself through it.
Exactly, you work through the problem, right? Because the thing is, if you're just battling ideas with thoughts, it's just chaos.
Oh, and I overthink everything.
Exactly.
Overthink
so
everything.
You need to almost talk it through so that it comes to you in a regular daily sense.
Yes.
You know?
Yes, thank you. Yeah. Oh, so I'm not...
No, if you are, I am. So.
There's probably a lot of us.
And I am, so maybe you are.
Well, I've never said I'm like a level person, I'm a hot mess fucking...
Hell yeah. That's how I like my friends.
Volcano about to explode, Most of the time I'm trying to keep a cap on it, with the smile like, no, everything's good.
I like to keep my friends like that, though.
A little on the edge?
Yeah.
Why not, man?
Yeah. I don't want to have some square dude.
Some fucking
I do way too much crazy, weird shit to have friends like that.
I'm usually in for shit.
Yeah.
Even still today, I'm like, well, yeah, why not?
Yeah, fuck it, crack, yeah.
Right, exactly. Why not? But yeah, we had that podcast and we were sitting there and I just felt it building and I can't talk to myself out loud, so I'm trying to internalize it, and I'm just knotting in the stomach. My hands are, I'm just like...
Getting cold and clammy.
Just cold and clammy, heart rate racing and all that, and so I'm going through my head, because the podcast we talked about, it was a lot of talk about drugs and stuff like that, and I freaked out that I was glorifying drugs and shit like that, and which I'm not. I'm saying I'm 40 years old, and as mature as I can be at 40, my brain has developed to a point that, some of those things,
Right.
I'm not glifying them for kids.
No,
and, the father thing kicks in, and I try to be a mentor to younger people.
You called me, because all right, this is what happened, all right? It's fucking 12 at night, something like that. It's about midnight, right? We're leaving our buddy's house, baked out of our gourds, right? And I get this phone call from you. I had literally just seen you, so I'm like, oh, did he forget something? Maybe he wants me to tell him to grab it and take it to the shop.
You couldn't have been barely out the driveway, right?
No, it was like 5-10 minutes tops, you know? And then I get this call from Mike. I'm like, huh, wonder what he forgot, you know? Pick up, you're like, hey, dude, can we take that podcast down? I'm kind of freaking out over here, man.
I was apologizing. I'm sorry, dude.
Yeah,
We'll be
dude,
able to do it again.
Sorry.
It's just...
We'll talk about it, but, I'm just, I'm a father, this and that, and you were really scared about it, man.
It was just, it was a full-blown panic attack. Dude, in my head, I had lost my job, right? I had lost my job, so I was unemployed, which meant I can't pay rent,
right?
Which means I can't pay support,
right?
Which means, so I'm working freaking the labor, I'm
right.
roofing
right.
for some dude,
You're roofing right now in your head.
And I'm, just freaking going to like, man, now I'm just going to have to hustle. And how am I going to, I'm going to have to make money. Because,
no, you're going to have to sell your body. And
well, then I'd be rich.
What? Yeah, you don't want to do that for the ladies. That's too much.
That's too much for them, right?
Too much stress, man. You're going to be having to call so many women back. It's unbelievably stressful, man.
Dude, yeah, because, yeah.
You might need a secretary. I might have to line these up for you. Schedule them out.
Be a booty secretary.
That's right, man. The booty secretary. I got you, homie.
Because my phone's blown up as we speak,
That's
isn't
what
it?
I'm saying.
Beep, beep, beep.
Yeah, you got the train
beep, beep,
going
beep.
on, right? You got that train ringtone.
Train ringtone. Train ringtone.
Yeah, not the. We might run trains. That's extra charge though, ladies.
Anywho. But yeah, dude, I just had that, and it went crazy. Like I said, I had lost my job, everything.
Right.
It was full blownsies.
Right.
Panic attack. Like talking myself down to breathe and get everything together. It was like, right before a fight.
Yep.
That anxiety you have, that knot, there we go.
Yeah.
It was like that, and it was just awful. And I had to, in my head, this whole scenario played out within 10 minutes of the next 15, 20 years.
Right.
I mean, it's like, when we talk about doing gist competitions
right.
and maybe getting in the cage again, I'm like, yeah, and I already see the end.
Right.
That's how my brain works. I instantly go out 20 years to the end result. This
sure.
long, freaking wormhole that I could see,
right.
to the other end. I had lost my job, and I explained to my family and my children how I had lost my
job. After CPS came in and took them away.
Yeah, dude, it was crazy. It was crazy.
Oh, man.
And that spiraled, man. And just recent, a few days later, I was like, actually, I came in.
Yeah, you came to the shop. You came to the shop, and then I remember, because the thing was, I was kind of in my head, I'm like, man, I don't know if we're going to be able to do this anymore then. You know what I mean? Because the whole thing, like we've talked about, the whole premise of this show
Uncensored and raw.
It's us. 100%, no holding back. Because me, especially me, I don't give a fuck what people think. So whatever I'm saying, if someone doesn't agree with me, that's fine, for one. If you don't like me because of the stuff I say,
that's
gravy.
Too,
That's exactly. Let's set the barrier right there, because if you don't like me for the things I say, then you're definitely not going to like me.
8.4 billion people on the earth.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm way too abrasive. If you can't handle what I'm saying, you're not going to be able to handle me all the time, man.
Right. Right.
I'm pretty straightforward. And that was my point, is I really want to, that was my biggest thing about doing this, is we've talked about it's super therapeutic for us to get just our thoughts out and just have a good conversation for an hour. It's also, I want to be able to be, in a way, transparent, because I know for me, when I'm listening to a podcast, or I'm listening to people that I don't know yet, that I'm getting introduced to, the biggest thing that attracts me, like we talked about last week, is people that are completely themselves.
Real.
Yeah, 100%.
Because how many times have you met somebody, talked to somebody, and it's a mask for the longest time.
Right.
It's either that or I just fucking wear on people to the
right.
point they're like, fuck, I don't even want to fucking talk to you anymore. There's also that could happen.
Could be.
I am pretty fucking intense, you know what I mean? From one end of the spectrum, I could go fucking cold, super cold intense, to probably sobbing little baby laying on the couch for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Intensity and everything in between.
Right.
You know what I mean? But I agree with you with that transparency thing. And that's kind of how, what this is, this talk is about and shit.
Right.
Because I remember you were like, well, we can cut it down and censor it. And I was like, no, I don't want to.
Right.
What went against what we were talking about.
Exactly.
I'm just freaking out right now.
Right. Well, and that was my thing is like, man, I don't know if we can continue to do this because I don't want to have to hold back anything.
Right.
You know what I mean? And there's things that I'm going to say that are definitely controversial. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And,
as they should be, though.
Right.
You know,
it's the reality of the
That's
situation.
what this is about.
Right.
You know, my whole thing, the therapy and the fact that I want to reach as many people as I can through this because I want to change the world, man. You know what I mean? That's all it comes down to.
Yep. And then hopefully hook some people that are like-minded, get a nice little group together. That's why right now, as we know, we have like, 2-3 listeners.
Yeah. I still haven't subscribed yet.
No?
Nah.
You gotta get out
Dude,
there,
I gotta get a Gmail account to get into...
Come on, dude.
It's so much work, which then means I gotta get a charger cord for my laptop.
Check this, though. You're being a super hypocrite right now.
Oh, totally.
So you won't get on and add your own fucking channel
I know,
on
isn't
YouTube,
that terrible?
But then we ask other motherfuckers to do it.
Oh, I know. Awful.
Awful.
I probably should.
Yeah.
I have a Gmail account. Can't remember the password to sign in.
We need a new one.
I know. So much effort, man. It's so much easier to just say, you people listen.
Yeah, you guys do the work.
I already know what the fuck I said.
Yeah.
I said it.
Yeah, right.
You know?
Yeah, I feel you.
I was there.
Yeah. But hopefully, eventually, we'll get
around.
Even if it's 20 people, man. Like, 20 solid people that just are on the same page. You know, a little group that we
Vibrate
can have
that
online.
same frequency.
Right, man. Just a little. It's like a friendship, a virtual friendship. That's what I want. I want virtual friendships based on being 100% real, so we connect with people that are also on the same wavelength as far as how they think. You know what I mean? And once again, not that you have to agree with everything, just with the fact that we have an open mind. We want you to have an open mind.
That's it.
And that's it. And have a cash conversation.
Because you welcome dissenting opinions.
Absolutely. I want it. I like getting into discussion.
Because you learn more like that.
Right.
I mean, when you talk about anything, like our biggest thing to talk about is like religion,
right,
and spirituality and stuff like that. And I love having dissenting opinions because I still learn. I'm not a Bible scholar.
We're not Bible scholars.
No, not even a little bit. You know, so anytime somebody that has that knowledge talks to me about it, I'm open to listen. Man, teach me. The problem is with that. When they're done with it, I go, you fucking seriously believe that shit?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I mean, I'm trying to be open-minded, but you're telling me X plus Y equals Z, and it doesn't make sense to me, you know?
Right. But
anything's possible.
We will have the conversation, and that's the whole point is, if you listen to the ridiculous theories I have, almost 90% of people are going to think I'm nuts, right? I'm cool with that, though. I'm okay with that because I feel comfortable in what I'm believing in.
Because you know you're nuts. You're not denying
Yeah, I'm 100% nuts.
Absolutely.
So how do I know that? And I don't 100%. Here's the thing. I'm not religious, but I have faith in my beliefs because there's no way to prove any single one of the beliefs that I choose to believe in. Just like with the Bible. You can't prove it, man. Saying that it's written is not proof. Okay? That's not proof of the story. You know what else was written?
Harry Potter.
Fucking Harry Potter. You know what I'm saying? Charlotte's Web. You think there's a fucking talking spider out there? You know what I mean?
Maybe.
But then the burning bush was clearly talking. You know what I'm saying? Like, you get these crazy... And then you get adults, as adults, you get them saying, like, oh, the tooth fairy, that's ridiculous. You know, but a dude in the clouds looking down on you, sending lightning bolts down here when he's mad.
That actually, like, I don't know, it almost seems like a puppet master.
Yeah.
But it's not. It's not because of the free will thing, right?
Right.
But, you know, like, that sets challenges in front of you like on purpose.
But doesn't tell you there are challenges. You got to figure out the whole
it's
thing.
Everything's always in hindsight,
it's
looking
like
back.
It's like this, all right? You go into a mansion full of 800 rooms, all right? You go there. You don't know why you're there. You just get thrown in the mansion. In one of the rooms, under a bed, under a stack of books, there's a math test. You have to pass that math test. Go. First of all, you don't even know the fucking math test is in the house.
Right, you don't even know
that the fucking math test is in the house.
Why the fuck am I still here?
And then you're just wandering the house.
Checking different rooms.
Checking it out. And then one day you might stumble on the test, and you're like, what the fuck is this? And you might crumple it up and just go, fuck this shit. Why would I do this? Now,
math.
If there was a rule, a sheet of rules that said, you must pass this test in order to survive. Now you have some sort of context.
It's kind of a game changer.
Right. Now you know what the fucking game plan is. You can't tell me that there's a rule sheet somewhere that tells you to take the math test. I'm doing little air quotes here. The math test of life, right? There's no fucking rules, right? Those rules are in the same book that tell you what the truth is. You know what I mean? That doesn't make sense.
There are no rules. That's what's crazy. You just try to keep flowing through shit and figuring it out as you go by looking back.
That's it.
Well, I fucked that one up.
Learned.
Or, hey, this is going pretty good. I'm going to keep it. I fucked that one up.
Right.
Learned.
Right.
You know, you blaze your own path the whole way.
You get something positive and you're like, oh, that works. Keep doing that.
Keep doing that, right?
You know? But again, and it's not to say I'm not saying that that's not true, that the Bible isn't real, or that the God that religious people believe in.
It's a real thing.
Right, it's there.
It's there.
Whether that's the reality of the afterlife or not, just like you can't prove it, I can't disprove it. You know what I'm saying? Like, as a religious person, you can't prove it.
And so it
100%.
leaves a question mark.
Right, so I'm open to that. Maybe that's what happens.
It's a possibility.
Maybe I get up there and I fucking go through the pearly gates and I'm like, no shit. Well, this is crazy.
Yeah, but you know how many people are going to look at you and be like, how the fuck did you make it up here?
He doesn't belong up here.
Like calling the police.
Yeah.
The heaven police and be like, we got somebody up here that doesn't belong in our neighborhood.
Yeah. His body's marked up.
Yeah. I don't know what's going on here, but
got giant holes in his ears.
Right. I think he should probably head south.
Yeah. Yeah. So again, it's just the fact that have an open mind, man.
Yep.
For things you know you can't prove. If it's on faith, you can't prove it. My theories are on faith. I can't prove them.
But if it keeps you going,
keeps me going.
Keeps you doing good things. Good things.
Good point.
If it keeps you doing good things, you know,
then it's not. Well, problem here, because a lot of people say that they're like, the good thing about the church or having a religion to follow is that it gives you something to aspire to be a good person. Agreed. But you're also having to take... It's not just about that. It's also about now you have to devote your life to something completely different in order to be a good person. That's the part I have a problem with. You can't just be a good person. You also have to have this belief. Right?
Right. In order to get to where you go.
Right.
Where you're supposed to go.
And so that brings to question. So you're supposed to be a good person and have the belief. So if you're a good person and don't have the belief, the theory is you go to hell, right?
Doesn't count.
You burn. If you're a shithead, and then on the last day you decide to believe and you give yourself up to Jesus or whatever the whole deal is, now you're good. What the fuck is that?
Loophole, man. Didn't you watch was it fucking Dogma?
Right.
Jay and Silent Bob? It's a loophole, man. Buddy Jesus will let you in. But
crazy premise, man.
My hardest thing is that whole afterlife thing, man. That whole forever thing. I don't want to do anything forever, and I'm not kidding. I know there was a comedian that talked about it once.
Oh yeah.
But it's fucking forever, man.
Yeah.
My brain doesn't rest right now. It's constantly running right now, and you're gonna make this brain go through all that.
Well, it is
forever.
In my theory,
you know. But even in my theory, where I think there's universal consciousness, that's how it connects us all and all that. I may not be conscious of it at that time.
Right, you won't. You'll be conscious of that.
So then it's something else. You know what I mean? It's something else. But to live inside of this head forever, no, thank you, man. I want to be able to take a dirt nap at some point in time and be done with it. Yeah.
See, I don't know. I feel like,
yeah.
Well, I feel that, but at the same time, you won't know the difference later. You know what I mean? So it's like you're moving.
It's on that other side. Who knows?
Bill Burr on his new special brought up a point where he went to some other country, and I forget what religion they are, but basically they believe that after you die, you just die, right? Like you're gone.
Oh,
and and here's the thing. He's like, I can't wrap my mind around it, right? I can't. And so the guy, he tells me, he's like, all right, do you remember before you were born? Like, no. Like, it's like that after you die.
See,
like,
I
you just don't remember,
I
right?
can dig that.
You just don't know. But my thing has always been this. Here's the one theory I've had. We talked about this on our old podcast a few years ago. It's the fucking... All right, you die. You see the white light. Boom, you go towards it. You're reborn, right? What if that's a vagina? What if you're just... As soon as you die, you see this white light. Boom, you go towards the white light. Boom, your head pops out of a vagina. You start all over. That's every time you die. You just... Bloop.
Is it a clean slate?
I think...
Or is there... Or
is there karma with it? Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm pretty good on the karma bank, man.
Memory-wise.
I'm pretty solid on the karma bank.
Okay.
You know, I'll take that. I'll take whatever.
But I'm saying, like, are you talking
but...
about like that karma affects you, or that you remember a previous experience?
Do you remember the previous experience?
Or...
Are you the same person, same spirit, soul, whatever, going in a new body, in a new fucking vessel, and so it's the same thing upstairs, you know, in your head? Because, like, I go back to it, man. Nah, man. There's too much clutter up here and too much shit that goes...
Well, it wipes the slate clean, but you have the same... I don't know. I guess my theory on it, and again, all taken on faith. I have no proof whatsoever. This is based on personal experiences and thought experiments, right? My estimation would be that it doesn't just restart completely clean, because then otherwise, then what's really the point, right? I mean, there's shit there, and is there even a point? Who knows? Maybe there is no point, and it is just that simple. Or do you learn every time? Do you take, like, for instance, you have those innate senses in you, right? That you just feel a certain way, or you
like that internal moral compass and stuff.
Right. I feel like that is the experiences you had as your previous self. They come forth. You don't know that they're there. You don't know why you feel certain ways or why you get those strong urges during certain situations. It's based on past experience that's coming now, and then now you have to figure out, oh, I have this extra skill based on this that you don't know at the time, based on this previous life. I have to hone that in even further. And so you get to, like, keep molding yourself slowly but surely. And you that's
kind of like that Buddhism reincarnation idea to get
similar
to nirvana.
To that. Similar to
you
that.
know, each time you come back, you get closer to enlightenment and stuff like that, to where you finally, and then you don't have to reincarnate anymore and stuff. Then, once you get it right, type of thing.
Right. It's like one life isn't enough. I wrote a post the other day on Facebook. Perfect is how much time, because it was actually a Buddha quote.
Yeah.
And it was, what did it say? It's, you think, the problem is you think you have time. And it's true. And my thing was, how much time? How much time do you have? Because guess what? No matter how much time I'm given, it's never going to be enough to fulfill everything I want to do. Because I'm super driven to do shit. And I'm never going to be able to, and since there's always going to be something else that I want to do. There's always going to be another step that I can take. A new challenge. It's never going to end. So there's never going to be enough time. So knowing that, let me just enjoy the fuck out of every day, knowing that I'm never going to get enough.
Right.
Just enjoy it.
I kind of do the same thing. Mine's more, again, like an emotional thing. You know what I mean? Like, if I don't say how I feel right now, you know what I mean? And be honest right now and take any risk. If I see a risk, if I see something that holds me back, like out of fear,
right?
You know, because that's what stops us from everything,
right?
Fear. If I can recognize it as, oh my gosh, what if I say something and they make fun of me, you know? Because I was fucking picked on all my fucking life, like, you know, groups of people would be like, "Oh yeah, come be our friend," and bam, fucking flip it on me and fucking, so it's all the time I catch myself somebody saying something nice like, "Oh hey, I like that shirt." You fucking with me?
In the back, you're like,
yeah. All I'm thinking is like, oh man, they're gonna go around and make fun of me, or I'll say something, or just kind of emote some shit, and then I'm like, they're gonna talk about me behind my back to other people.
You're just instantly in the worst case scenario.
Dude, all the time, right? I mean, that's what happens up there, and so you're overthinking it, because I'm a positive person and shit like that. But it became it's been like that since I was fucking 6 years old in kindergarten, you know what I mean? And so yeah, that's like a fucking emotional scar I get stuck on. So, but at the same time, not saying it would be an act of cowardice to me, and I never want to be spoken as a coward. You know what I mean? If anything, I wasn't cowardly. So I say some fucking shit sometimes that I fucking shouldn't have. You know what I mean?
Like just coming back too aggressive?
Coming back too aggressive, all, sad, emotional, just all types of different shit, man. Super way fucking manic happy, maybe, I probably just need medicine to calm that down, but anyway. But yeah, and so for me, it's facing your dragons. You got to face your dragons, and it's about like not going back, and not staying, and not, doing things like, oh well, this is the safe route. I don't like taking the safe route. It's safe, but man, it's fucking boring.
Doesn't get you very satisfied.
There's not a satisfaction in it. Because I put a post the other day, the truth hurts once, but a lie every time it's remembered.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
And regardless, I mean, you have to speak the truth, even if it hurts.
Yep.
If it hurts you, if it hurts somebody, if the reaction to the other party, or whatever's happening, or anything, it may hurt you. The end result may hurt you, but once, if it was the truth, versus being lied to or lying to somebody. If you lie to somebody, man, every time they think about that lie, and you hurt them again, Yeah,
that's how I've lost friends, because I'm very quick to throw people out that I don't have any use for. I'm not gonna keep you around if you show me that you're not the kind of person I think you are. You know what I mean? Everyone makes mistakes.
Everybody.
There's a difference between making mistakes for your own self and fucking me over. Because you shouldn't need to fuck me over for any reason if we're homies. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Or if we have a relationship of some kind.
Ever.
No need, right? Brutally honest people suck to listen to. But they're telling you shit that's usually for your own good. Right?
Right, because they care.
So, perfect segue.
Yes.
Into this situation. All right. The Brendan Schaub situation. We said we were waiting, or I was waiting to hear the Fighter and the Kid podcast. So, let me break it down for everybody. Brendan Schaub and Brian Callen have a podcast called The Fighter and the Kid. And Joe Rogan's both of their buddies, right? Joe Rogan, the UFC commentator. So they had a podcast, and they were basically just going to talk about the loss, see where Brendan was at. And basically, they sat down, talked a little bit about the fight. Brendan got to tell his side of the story of how the fight went, all that good stuff. And then Joe Rogan dropped the bomb on this cat. Did you listen to it?
I haven't listened to it yet. I was on the underground, and I read somebody had thrown up a thread that was like, Joe Rogan is putting Brendan Schaub on blast right now.
Dude, brutal, right?
Really?
Brutal.
Like,
so I'll break it all down.
Caring brutal?
Semi both, okay? There's definitely a friendship there, okay? And you can tell. There was also points where I felt like...
that should have been done in private?
Well, they talked about that. Brendan's the one that apparently said he wanted to do it live, but then on the second show after that show, because they did another show with just him and Brian, he said that he wasn't really expecting it to go that way either, okay? So, we'll get back to that, But the thing is some of the things he said were a little Don't get me wrong. I don't think he was necessarily wrong in some of the statements he made, but he also didn't really look at the positives of the situation in any way whatsoever. Basically, what he told Brendan was that, long story short, because this was a 2-hour podcast, okay, so it was a long time. Long story short, he basically told Brendan, look, you're a great fighter, but you don't have elite level skills.
You're not as good as you think you are.
Right. And that's what he told him. He's like, you're too caught up in it because you're a fighter to realize where your shortcomings are, and you're just not on the level of the elite guys. You're not going to beat the elite guys. And he didn't just say things like that. Like, let me give you an example. One of the things he said specifically was like, they started talking about Kane, and he says, you're not going to beat Kane. Like, he just basically flat out told
He's going to maul you.
Yeah. And he says, all right, here's the thing is your skill level isn't at the top of the charts like some of these other guys. So he talked about some kickboxer, and then he talked about wrestling, and he goes, what do you think would happen if you wrestled Kane? Just straight wrestling. And Brendan Schaub says, I think people would be surprised. Joe goes, I think you'd be surprised. He would murder you.
Oh, wow.
Like, basically, that's what he said. He's like, you would get mauled. And you would be surprised. And, like, just told him flat out. And then this went on for about an hour of just basically this guy telling him. Now, let me get to the point that Joe was really trying to make. It wasn't just to shit on this dude, right? They're homies.
That's his boy.
He basically went, a big portion of this conversation, which they mentioned was for other fighters to listen to as well, was head trauma that we talked about last week. We talked about this. He talked about the same thing is, look, man, basically this is another thing he was trying to make a point of is, look, Brendan, you're a funny guy. You got a personality on you. You are doing really good with this Fighter and the Kid podcast. You don't have to fight. You don't have to get punched in the head anymore. How long are you going for it? You know, and that was another point he made was, I feel like you have your foot out the door. And Brendan's like, really? And he goes, yeah. I feel like you know that the end is going to be coming at some point and that you can't do it forever. And you know that. You know you can only take so many hits to the head. You know that. You know how many concussions you've already taken. You know you only have so many. There's no reason for you to fuck your head up, is basically what he told him. But then when he was talking about Brendan and how his skills aren't to par and this and that, I agree with what he said. I mean, Brendan's a great fighter. He doesn't have elite level skills. That's just the truth. He's an athletic guy. He's good at all facets of MMA. He's not great at any of them, right? And
yeah, but don't you think with it, not knowing anybody, you know what I mean? You would have to train with them to know if it's an ego thing, if it's a pride thing.
But here's the point is, Joe never came back, because here's the thing is, if I was doing that to one of our buddies, if I had to sit down and be like, look, man, I love you, I just don't want to see you get hurt anymore, man. You just don't have what it takes to get to where you're thinking you want to be, and you're going to sacrifice your brain as a result. If I had to do that, that's fine. He never once told him, and not so much for Brendan, but for the people that were listening, because otherwise it sounded so brutal, man. He never once told him, like, maybe if you switch camps, maybe if you switch this around, maybe if you did that. I think he brought up one time that if you went over and just kickboxed for a straight year, that he could come back and be better, but then that would be a whole year off where he's not getting paid type of thing. And it's like, I feel like he never really gave him an opportunity. You know, like he's basically saying, you don't have it, period. There's no way you can get there.
Yeah, you know,
which is debatable.
I mean,
but
you got 500 guys on contract. You got 500 guys on contract and 7 champions.
Right.
That leaves 493 people that don't have it.
Right. Most of them won't have it.
And most of them won't, but I don't know. You being a competitor, me being a competitor on that side, I could imagine that being tough to hear, dude.
Dude, not just tough, dude. Imagine,
especially he's young, right?
He's 31.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
Okay, so
but here's the problem: is that's tough to hear no matter what. But then on top of it, you just lost 2 days ago.
Yeah.
You are already an emotional mess right now. you're questioning yourself if you even do have what it takes, this and that. So that question's already running your mind a little bit, and then you got this dude blasting for an hour about how you're awful.
Yeah, that's rough.
It was hard to listen to, man, because, and then Joe would blast him on something, and then Brendan would be like, huh, okay. Like, you can tell, like, and then in the next podcast where him and Brian came back and did another one to talk about that podcast.
Who, Joe and Brian?
No, Brian and Brendan.
Oh, they did
another one later.
Kid?
Yep.
Okay.
They did another one, and basically Brendan, he is going to keep fighting. So that was made solid. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. He's going to keep fighting. And he was like, basically, this is what happened. And see, this is what I love. The honesty, man. The honesty and the emotionalness that he's willing to put out there, right? First of all, they asked him after the whole podcast with Joe if he wanted to not put it up. They didn't have to put it up. He said, no, I want it up. That takes balls.
Yeah.
Takes balls. Then he comes back and he was like, look, the reason I was going, and I wasn't saying much when Joe was talking was because I was literally going to bust out crying if I opened my mouth.
Yeah. I read on some of the threads that was talking about that. Man, I was just like, oh, dude.
Yeah.
I've been
You
there.
feel it, right?
You feel it? Dude, how can you not feel that?
Right. And the people that are calling him a pussy for that, go fuck yourself. That's reality, dude. That's how you feel, right?
Oh, we're going to jump back for a second. It's that drove me into fighting. Shit like that. When, I talked about being picked on, blah, blah, blah. And I used to get beat up all the fucking time as a kid, fucking neighbor kid, mob mentality. I get my ass whipped. My dad got sick of it, and got me into Taekwondo, which led to this, to that, and that. Now I can fucking fight.
Right.
I can hold my own. And that was always my thing. I mean, certain hot topics would always get to me. You know what I mean? And I'll get back to the Brendan Schaub in just a second. But like somebody like call you a pussy or you're being a little bitch or something. Instantly, I want to be like, come beat this bitch's ass.
Right.
See what it's like now.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, and so yeah, fuck yeah.
Yeah, but he's being
That's some
real.
bitch shit to call somebody out because they're being real.
Right. First of all, he's being real. That's how people feel. They just won't tell people. Mm-hmm. That's how 95% of dudes would have felt that way had that exact situation happen to them.
No, every real man wouldn't have cried.
Fuck you, Joe. Fuck you. You want to fight in the octagon?
Yeah. Scratch my balls.
Yeah, no, dude.
Yeah.
Brendan's being real, and again, that's why I like the dude. It's got nothing to do with who he... Yeah, like I said, most of the things he enjoys or says... Not really not my cup of tea, but I like the fact that he's real, which brings me
to listen.
It makes
to him
me feel
stuff.
connected.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you're not gonna go out and watch Real Housewives of Atlanta or anything.
Fuck no.
But you'll have a conversation. You'll listen.
Sure.
We'd have a conversation with the guy if you want to talk about housewives.
Dude, and if we were friends, if me and him were friends, I would bust his balls about it
every time,
and then he would bust my balls about shit, and that's why we would probably get along.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
You don't have to agree on everything.
That's
it's
too
just
boring.
The reality of friendship or relationships is it's a vibe, man. And
respect.
It's got
it's respect and honesty.
It's got nothing to do with
openness and honesty, and that's any relationship. And when you say see, people confuse what the definition of a relationship is too.
Right.
You know what I mean? They think in a relationship.
Right.
Oh, that's my boyfriend. That's my girlfriend. Dude, everybody you communicate with, you're in a relationship with them. If you want to define it, I try not to define relationships because that puts you in a box.
Yeah,
and
you just box
makes
it
you
in.
obliged to and stuff like
then
that.
There's rules.
Then there's rules, and I will disappoint people.
Right.
I will
Right.
I promise. And eventually,
we all
will disappoint you. So you know, but like ours, a relationship.
Yep.
Friends. You know what I mean? That's and there's a real good bond there.
Definitely.
You know, and it's based on being open and honest and truthful and fucking, a lot of times sharing sweat and blood,
Yeah, that helps.
That helps bring, but it builds that trust where you can be honest with that person.
Right. Well, because we know who we are, right? Like we talked about.
Yeah.
Like we've struggled with each other. We know what the fuck happens at the worst moment, right? Like we've been there.
And to know that you got a homie that is down, if you're in a pinch, man, that that guy's willing to get down,
right?
If it has to,
right?
that's a comforting feeling too, because you can trust that person. You know, not having somebody, you know, those fucking bro science guys that, oh yeah, bro, how much do you even lift, bro? You know, and shit like that. But if shit goes down, man, they're the first ones being a bitch.
Right.
You know? Fuck that.
Yeah.
All talk, no cock, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, so that's the thing is, like, you know, that relationship is built on a loyalty, on honesty, and that's the reality of why, again, we're homies, why any of the friends that we have in our circle are friends with us is because we're all honest. We're not... I made a joke the other day because it's so true. Like, Preston at the shop always jokes around with me like, man, like, you're open about everything. You're like an open book. I said, I like it that way.
Gotta be.
You're never going to fucking spread a rumor about me that I haven't already said myself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's never going to happen.
Dude, Mark Twain said it. If, what'd he say? He said something along the lines, I had a friend tell me this once. If you tell the truth, you never have to remember anything.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Or something along those lines. And it makes so much sense, man. Because if you got to lie, if you lie to somebody,
that's so much
then you got to remember that lie.
So much work.
And you got to make sure that all those fine details are the same every time you tell it. Because if that person is around, the next time you tell them, there's something different.
Yep.
You know, and it's those things. So why not? I mean, the reason we lie is because we want to put on that mask, show, oh no, I'm perfect. I have my shit together.
Right.
I just fuck that, man. You know, it's so much easier to go, I'm so fucked up that you can't believe it.
And then hopefully the other person will be like, oh, me too. I just don't like telling people.
I'm so broken as well.
Let's talk about it. And then suddenly you're like, oh, we're homies.
That's how it
we
goes,
can
man.
Share shit. You know? Shit that people don't want to share.
Because I'm not down for surface relationships, fake book and
so
shit like
dull. What's the point?
Dude, how's the weather? It's fucking either hot or it's cold.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? How's the weather? Hot or cold?
Yeah.
How you feeling? Good or bad? You know? What's your biggest fears? Oh, sit down to the table. Right. Now let's talk.
Right.
Let's talk. That now you're intriguing me. Because if I want to get to know somebody, I want to get to fucking know them, man. Yeah. I want to know everything about them.
Right.
Not because I'm judging them.
Right.
It's because as a friend, man, I want you to be able to confide in me with anything. I will take these things to the grave, man.
Right.
If I got your back, I got your fucking back, you know, type of thing. And, yeah. And you make those connections, and it's fucking cool. And there's tons of people out there that believe that way.
Exactly.
That are just maybe afraid to say it, or...
And that's what this is about again, going back.
Bam.
Don't be afraid, because the people that are going to shun you or judge you for telling the truth are fuckheads. That's basically the truth, right? And
maybe they're not. Maybe they're not. Maybe they just don't vibe. And that's cool, too.
You're right.
But be truthful about it, and vibrate your frequencies a different direction.
That's it.
Don't hold on to shit that's not there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Many people do that. So many people hanging out with people that are just terrible for them, or that you can tell when they hang around, they're trying to be a different person just so that they can
don't want to hang out with, and they still do though, just because we've known each other forever. And...
No, I cut ties with people.
I'm either all in or all out most of the time.
That's it, dude. Either you're a positive influence in my life, and I enjoy you for whatever reason, or you're nothing to me.
Because I don't want negative. I won't have a negative influence.
That's it.
So it's nothing, and I can do nothing.
Yeah,
I've done nothing. Started over from nothing a few times.
Sure.
You know, so big freaking deal.
Yep.
But if it's a positive thing, hell yeah, I want to continue to communicate, to talk, to you know, I want to surround myself. Because I don't surround myself with material items. It's not about money and wealth and stuff. It's human connection.
Sure.
You know, and that's why I like these podcasts. And like you were talking about Big Brown, Brendan Schaub, you know, I couldn't stand the guy from what the media puts out. And then listening to a couple podcasts, you know, it's fun.
He's a fun
guy. You
guy,
can connect
dude.
with that.
That's it.
And this is an opportunity where you connect with real people instead of situation comedies or you know, things like that. To where that person reminds me of this. That's a fucking character. That's not real.
Right.
You know, stuff like that. Hell yeah.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens with poor Brendan. But he said absolutely he's still fighting. Absolutely, he's still gonna improve.
I like watching him fight.
I like watching him fight too, man.
He gives me hope.
Well, he talked about possibly cutting down to 205.
I saw that too.
I think that's a bad move.
You think so?
I think so. I think he's too. He'll get quicker, obviously, with the weight loss. He's not. There's so many murderers in the 205 division, man.
Yeah.
Heavyweight.
Yeah, but all of them in the heavyweight are murderers.
No. See, that's the thing is, I feel like as a heavyweight, you get to lack technique.
Well, yeah.
You know, I would say there's maybe 5 heavyweights that are technically skilled as shit, and then the rest of them are really fucking good fighters,
big tough guys
that are giant, you know, and that's how I feel about the heavyweight division.
Who would you put Brendan Schaub up against then?
Next,
yeah,
as like okay,
Struve?
Well, we'll have to see what happens with Alistar and Struve. Struve could be a decent matchup, but after watching him fight Brown and the reach and the whole thing, I don't know if fighting a taller dude again might be the best option.
What do you think about Overeem then?
It's a tough matchup for him, man.
Because, I mean, if you blow a kiss at Overeem and it lands, sometimes he goes out.
True, but Overeem's an annihilator, dude. Like, that dude's...
Yeah.
Whoo,
Yeah. When he does it, he does it. Yeah, I don't know.
I feel like Brendan needs just a middle tier guy right now. He's had a couple losses in a row. Get a middle tier guy in there to get some confidence back. Give him a good matchup. Don't give him a bum, obviously, because he doesn't want bums anyway. Which is another thing I respect about him is he doesn't want to. He says I could fight on the undercard for the next 5 years, make good money, and beat a lot of guys. I don't want to do that. I want to fight on the main card. I want to fight the top guys, and I want to test myself because a run for the championship is the only reason I do it. Which is 100% on point, and that's the only reason you should be a fighter.
Yeah.
Is to be the best. Because if you're not trying to be the best, at one point you're going to get hurt.
Oh, yeah.
Bad.
Especially the big boys like that.
You can't fucking make mistakes with a gigantic dude throwing hammers at you.
A 250-pound guy.
Yeah.
That trains to fight.
That trains to fight. That's a monster.
Yeah.
It's scary enough to be a big giant dude, right? And then on top of it, you know precision, you know where you're supposed to land shots, you know how to fuck people up on the ground. Whew. It's
a dangerous spot to be in against that guy. I don't necessarily want to be in with that guy.
No.
I mean, I will.
So who? Let's think about this. Who would be a good matchup for him coming back in the heavyweight? I'm trying to think of some guys that...
I can't even think of the heavyweight division. All the heavyweights I think of are top 5, top 6 guys.
Yeah.
You know, you got Hunt, Verdum, Kane, Bigfoot.
They were talking about Hunt, which might not be a bad fight. That could be a good stylistic matchup for him. But again, heavy hitter.
Heavy hitter. And
Brendan
Hunt will sit in the pocket with you and eat those punches and throw one that'll decapitate you. What about Roy Nelson? He already fought him once.
It could be a rematch.
Who won that one?
Roy caught him with a clip to the head.
See? There we go.
Caught him.
I was thinking Mitrione, but he already fought Mitrione.
Fought Mitrione, beat him. And they're friends. They don't want to fight again.
Yeah.
They had a hard time fighting the first time, I guess.
Yeah?
Man, it's tough, dude. It's tough.
And you don't want to throw him in against JDS.
Absolutely not, man. That's... I feel like he's a good striker. He can't stand with guys that are strikers though, and he seems to have a tough time closing the distance. You know what I mean? So it's dangerous. He needs to work on footwork. If you noticed in the last fight, they talked about this on that podcast too. Lunging in with wild punches. You know what I mean? That's tough, man. You can't lunge in like that because that's when you run into a fist, which is pretty much what happened. You know, got caught with the uppercut, and then it was over from there. That's what he said. He said he was out after the uppercut. He was out. He said he was getting hit on the ground, and as soon as he got hit in the head, he woke back up. And speaking of, so he says this is what he said happened at the end of the fight. This was his interpretation. He heard the 20 seconds. He heard his corner say 15 seconds. He says he was yelling at Mario Yamasaki, "Do not stop the fight. He's hitting me in the back of the head. Don't stop it. Let it continue." And then they stopped the fight.
Oh, really?
And that's what happened. So he says he was talking to him. He says none of them were hurting him towards the end. He said he just wanted to grind it out, and he wanted to get it into the later rounds to tire him out. Which could have worked.
Makes sense, but, I mean, you saw the fight.
Exactly.
You got to defend yourself. You got to move. You can't turtle up and expect the referee to go, oh, this guy's just going to come out of it.
Right.
It's a fight, man.
Yeah. And you got a giant on top of you.
So maybe that was just a strategic error, but...
Well, he says himself, which is he takes all the blame. It's got nothing to do with Mario Yamasaki. It's got nothing to do with anything. He shouldn't have taken the uppercut.
There you go.
Right?
There you go.
So...
And Brown's put some people out. It's not like...
Yeah, the dude's got power. And the dude's tough as balls. I mean, the dude stays in there no matter what the fight's doing.
Yeah.
He's always in it.
Barnett? Could he fight Barnett?
Ooh, Barnett's... That's a tall order.
I know, right?
Woo!
Barnett is tough.
You know what I think? Actually, I just thought of this one. A good matchup, him against Frank Mir. Neither of them are super elite strikers. Frank's definitely got him on the ground.
Yeah.
But Schaub's got a pretty decent ground game.
Does he? I didn't catch it. I know he did Metamoris, but
yeah.
I didn't...
That's his thing. Is like he's mostly a ground guy.
Is he really?
Yes.
Okay.
So like that's his love. He likes the ground.
Nice.
He's a jiu-jitsu lover. So I feel like he's got enough defense to get through it if Frank took him to the ground. Frank's a monster on the ground, but it would be a good stylistic matchup to see what happens, man. You know, on the feet they're pretty even. I feel like.
I forgot all about Frank Mir.
Yeah, well, he's been getting.
Yeah.
Been getting stumped the last few times.
Yeah.
Big Frank Mir fan. I love Frank Mir.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's got a douchey ass attitude too.
It's the haircut, man. It's the haircut.
Dude.
It's that
I can't even stand to listen to him talk, but I like his fighting style. Is awesome.
It's that freaking middle school preparatory school prep boy haircut he's got. You're just like, oh, what a dude.
I feel like that dude has so many insecurities. I feel like that's why he talks so over the top confident, is because I think he's hiding insecurities. Yeah.
Very, very well could be. We all do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, we all do it. We try, and maybe it's not even trying to convince anybody else. Convince himself.
Right.
If he continues to say, you say it enough, you believe it. You know, stuff like that. You know, power to the people.
Yeah.
Blah blah blah. All that
Till
shit.
Joe Rogan slams you on a 2-hour podcast.
Damn, man.
Woo!
Fucking, that would suck, dude.
Dude, so bad.
I mean, for somebody that's a friend, if he wanted to slam me on a 2-hour podcast, I'd sit there with a smile and be like, he'd be like, so what do you think about that? I'd be like, Joe Rogan's talking to me. You know, I'm so excited. Dude, he fucking hates you. But he's talking.
Yeah, right.
You know?
Yeah.
He'd be like, so what? What? You want to have a beer after this? No, I fucking hate you.
Right.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So maybe later then?
Took balls for Rogan to do that too, though, at the same time, man. Knowing that people are going to judge him on it, too.
Dude, yeah, because he was getting shit on pretty solid on
the
on the MMA boards and stuff. You know, like, you shouldn't have done, that shouldn't have been done.
Right.
You know, that should have been done in private if you were a real friend, blah, blah, blah. You know, he even came back and it's like, I felt like shit afterwards.
He did.
You know?
He was saying that through the podcast. He's like, dude, I fucking hate hearing these words come out of my mouth. But I feel like as a friend, I love you and I want to tell you.
It's enough for me, man. If somebody does that, you know.
Again, honesty. He's being honest, right?
If it's all in fucking because you care about the person, it's all good, man.
Right.
It's all good.
Right. Exactly. It's all where it's coming from.
Wow, threw a little MMA in there.
Yeah, got it in.
Fucking little philosophy.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Threw down some Bible blasts.
A little blasting. Oh yeah. Well, before we cut this out, I did want to throw a little shout out.
Yeah?
To one of the only people that I know for sure are listening right now.
Yeah?
My homie Vic Core.
Yeah!
Vic fucking Core, man. That dude's, I remember I met him, it was during the fight days.
The fights, yeah.
He used to take pictures of all of us. That dude does amazing pictures, by the way.
Does he still do it?
He goes to all the fights.
Vic Core Photography.
Yeah.
He's on Facebook, man.
Yeah.
I don't know if he still has a Facebook page, but he's friends with both of us.
Yeah, definitely check him out.
Yeah, man.
Dude's
solid dude.
Such a solid dude. I love that guy. Love that guy. One of the only people that actually came and was interested in making sure that when I opened the gym that it flourished. He wanted to. He was interested and wanted it to grow.
Wanted to see the success.
Yes. He's from the heart, you know.
Support, a good support system, man. Good, yeah, it's legit. He hit me up because today I threw out a post and shit like that, and he hit me up. Funny guy, man.
He's hilarious.
Dry humor.
Love that guy.
I love dry humor.
Went and celebrated his birthday last week.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Outstanding.
Yeah, dude's an awesome guy. So I wanted to throw that out there because I know he listens.
Got one solid listener.
Thank you, Vic. Fan. Thank you, Vic. That's the kind of people I want, though, man. Yeah. Guys like that. You know what I mean?
So if you know Vic, then you should be listening to this shit.
Exactly. And thanks for supporting us, Vic. I always see the comments and everything, so it's definitely not going unnoticed. Really appreciate it, homie.
Is that it for today, man?
I think that's it, man. Let's go catch these fights.
Yeah.
Fucking
have fun.
Hell yeah.
Little Friday night, Franco-eyed Friday night.
That's right, Franco-eyed Friday.
You know.
Totally
all right, people. Subscribe. Enjoy. Loose Tooth!